If you found this video, it wasn't by chance. There's a final message that needs to reach you before this year ends, and the universe has chosen you to hear it. This message has an expiration date, and if you ignore it, the door that's open to you now may close forever. In the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal the real reason why you feel stagnant, trapped in a cycle that repeats itself endlessly. It's not bad luck, it's nobody's fault. It's a silent negotiation you're making with your own life, and the price of that negotiation is about to become too high. Stay with me until the end. Because what Thoth, the ancient scribe of the gods, has to tell you may be the only thing capable of breaking the pattern before it's too late. This is not a self-help message, it's an ultimatum from the universe, and you have been chosen to receive it. If you feel you've been called to this moment, comment below. I'm ready to listen. Change happens when the pain of remaining the same becomes greater than the fear of change. Your arrival here was no accident. The movement that brought you to this screen was an act of cosmic precision, a synchronicity that allowed this message to reach you now. A silent frequency within you resonated with this call, guiding you like an inner compass. Your soul recognized this encounter even before your mind processed it. This feeling of familiarity is confirmation that you are in the right place. The ancient Egyptians believed that Thoth, the scribe of the gods, recorded only the crucial moments of transformation. He didn't note chance occurrences, but turning points where the truth is revealed to those who are ready. You didn't stumble upon this message. You were led to it for a very specific reason. This call was tailored to the person you are today, with the weight you carry and the doubts that haunt you. Your journey has prepared you to receive this urgent summons for your awakening. The message resonates not in your logical mind, but in that deep place within your being that knows something greater needs to happen. It is an invitation with an expiration date made for your current version. Think of this as a mirror the universe has placed before you. It reflects not only who you are, but mainly who you are refusing to be. The reason for this encounter is straightforward. Your time of stagnation is over. The universe is delivering a silent ultimatum to you, demanding you break free from the repetitive cycle in which you are trapped. Inertia is no longer an option. That restlessness you feel, that sensation that the days go by and nothing changes, is real. This is no longer content to be consumed and forgotten. It's the beginning of a definitive choice. Your experiences have prepared you for this exact moment. The big question isn't why me, but why now? And the answer is simple, because this moment has an expiration date. The urgency you feel is not psychological pressure, it's the perception of a universal law. This moment is unique because it has an energetic expiration date. It doesn't mean these words will disappear from the screen, but that their transformative effectiveness is tied to this exact instant of your journey. The version of you that exists now, carrying this specific weight, this particular stagnation, is the only one that can truly be reached by this message. It's a perfectly designed key for the lock that holds you captive today. And only today. Think about it. In the next cycle, in the next year, you will no longer be the same person. Either you will have heeded the call and initiated the movement, and this message will become a reminder of your turning point. Or you will have ignored it, and inertia will have solidified even further, creating a new layer of resistance that will make change exponentially more difficult. The window of opportunity for your current version is closing. The universe offers you the chance, but it doesn't wait indefinitely for your decision. It moves on. In the view of ancient sages, time is not a straight, infinite line, but a continuous flow of portals. Certain windows of transformation open at specific moments, aligned with your inner readiness. Missing one of these windows doesn't mean all is lost, but it does mean that the specific opportunity with the current energy configuration will not return. You will have to wait for a new alignment, perhaps more difficult, perhaps under more painful circumstances. The ease and clarity available to you now are a gift with a limited lifespan. You may be wondering why this deadline exists. Why can't the universe simply wait? Because growth is a fundamental law of existence. Everything is in constant motion, expansion, and evolution. To stand still is to go against the very nature of the cosmos. Your stagnation doesn't just affect you. It creates a dissonance in the flow of energy around you. This message is an invitation for you to flow with life again, before life itself needs to create a crisis to force you to move. The hourglass of your current destiny is running down with its last grains of sand. Every day you postpone the decision, every tomorrow I'll start you whisper to yourself, is a grain of sand that falls and never returns. The energy available for your transformation at the end of this year is potent. It's a high tide that can take you very far with less effort. But if you choose to stay on the sand, waiting for the tide to go out, you'll have to walk the entire distance alone, waist deep in water, fighting against the current. The truth is that your most important decision, the one you know what it is running out of time. This isn't a threat, it's an observation of universal mechanics. The door that's open now, invitingly, will begin to slowly close. And what prevents you from crossing it isn't a lack of ability, but a silent negotiation you've been waging with yourself for a long time. The universe is about to show you the real cost of this internal negotiation. Silent negotiation with reality. This waiting has a name: negotiation. For months, perhaps years, you have become a master in the subtle art of negotiating with reality. You promise yourself that you will take that crucial action, but only when the conditions are perfect. When you are ready, when the moment is right, when you feel most prepared. It's a constant internal conversation, a dialogue that convinces you that delaying is the smartest, safest choice. You tell yourself you are being prudent, cautious, responsible. Do you recognize this pattern? The toxic relationship you'll only end when you feel emotionally stronger. The career change that keeps getting postponed. Waiting for an ideal financial reserve that never seems to arrive. That personal project that will only come to fruition when life becomes less chaotic. The healthier version of yourself that will emerge as soon as you have more time and less stress. You remain on the edge of the precipice of decision, looking down and calculating the risks, without realizing that the greatest threat is not the leap, but paralysis. This attitude disguises itself as wisdom, but a crucial distinction must be made: true wisdom, which the Egyptians called ma'at, demands balance and just action at the right moment. It involves analysis, but culminates in movement. What you have been practicing, however, is simply waiting, and waiting, more often than not, is just fear dressed in pretty clothes. It's your survival system keeping you in your comfort zone, even if that zone is a place of pain and dissatisfaction. The familiar, even if bad, seems safer than the unknown. Deep down, without excuses or rationalizations, you know exactly which of the two you've been practicing. You know you're not being prudent, you're afraid. Afraid of failing, afraid of being judged, afraid of what others will think, afraid of discovering you're incapable. And this fear keeps you hostage, negotiating with life for guarantees it will never give you. You want a signed contract with the universe, guaranteeing that everything will work out before you take the first step. But life doesn't work with contracts. It works with faith and movement. This constant bargaining drains your vital energy. Every day you spend procrastinating, you expend an immense amount of mental strength, justifying your inaction. This energy could be used to build the life you desire, but instead it is spent maintaining the walls of your own prison. You become both jailer and prisoner at the same time, convincing yourself that the gates are locked when, in reality, the key has always been in your pocket. And the universe, in its infinite patience, observes this silent negotiation. But cosmic patience is not passivity. It allows you to learn your lessons. And if the lesson is not learned through awareness, it will be taught through consequence. The real cost of your waiting is accumulating. The opportunities you let slip by, the connections you lose, the time that doesn't return. The universe is about to present you with the bill. And that bill reveals a simple and brutal truth about how change really happens. Now we come to the part that your rational mind will struggle to accept, but that your soul already knows to be true. The most fundamental rule of the universe is this: nothing changes if nothing is changed. It's not philosophy, it's pure mechanics. It's a law of cause and effect, as undeniable as gravity. If you keep planting the same seeds, you will keep reaping the same fruits. If you persist in the same thoughts, the same emotions, and the same behaviors, your reality will remain exactly the same. You can wait for a miracle, a stroke of luck, a divine intervention that will transform your life without you having to do anything. But that's a fantasy. There's no hidden variable in the universe's algorithm that will suddenly reward you for enduring the same patterns long enough. Transformation, the true quantum leap you so desire, can only be born from difference. From a new choice, a new action, a new thought. Change requires a different cause to generate a different effect. The simplicity of this truth is so brutal, so direct, that most people spend their entire lives trying to circumvent it. We seek complex solutions, magic formulas, ancestral secrets, when the answer has always been right in front of us. For things to change, you need to change. For things to get better, you need to get better. That's why most people never move. It's easier to complain about familiar pain than to face the terrifying uncertainty of healing. Healing requires you to do something you've never done before. Think of your life as a computer program. If the source code is programmed to always run the same loop of frustration and scarcity, the program will run that loop forever. It's no use blaming the computer, the operating system, or lack of memory. The only way to change the outcome is to rewrite the code. You are the programmer of your reality. Your beliefs, your habits, and your decisions are the code. As long as you don't change the internal programming, the screen of your life will continue to display the same results. This truth is frightening because it places all the responsibility back on your shoulders. It's much more comfortable to believe that we are victims of circumstances, that the world is unfair, that we have no power. This narrative absolves us of the responsibility to act, but it also robs us of all our power to create. By accepting the brutal simplicity of change, you may feel fear at first, but soon after you will feel immense liberation. If you are the cause, then you are also the solution. But here's the secret that reverses that logic and makes the impossible possible. There's an order of operations, a method that wise people know to hack this system. It's not about having superhuman willpower or becoming someone you're not. It's about understanding how your own mind works and using its rules to your advantage, instead of being a victim of them. There's a way to start the movement without having to see the whole path ahead. And that way challenges everything you've been taught about security and planning. The hidden staircase in the darkness. From an early age, we were taught to live in a completely inverted way. Society programmed us with the illusion that security must come before taking the first step. We were told to plan everything, to have all the guarantees, to visualize the entire staircase of transformation before daring to put our foot on the first step. And so most of us remain at the base, in the dark, waiting for the lights to turn on and reveal the complete path. But the universe doesn't work that way. The lights will never turn on by themselves. Enlightenment, what the Egyptians called Ach, the body of light and wisdom, is not a gift you receive for waiting patiently. It is a consequence of movement. The light of each step only ignites when you step on it. You take a step into the darkness, trusting that the ground will appear beneath your feet, and only then does the next step reveal itself, still shrouded in shadows. The journey of self-transformation demands movement, even in the most complete uncertainty, for the universe does not respond to plans, it responds to initiated movement. This is the great trap of the rational mind. It wants a complete map before starting the journey. It wants to know every turn, every obstacle, every stopping point. But the soul's journey is not a car trip with a GPS. It's an exploration into unknown territory, where the map is drawn with every step you take. Waiting for total clarity before acting is the perfect recipe for eternal paralysis. Clarity is not the starting point. It is the reward for your courage to begin without it. Think of any skill you've learned in life: riding a bicycle, driving, speaking a new language. You didn't wait to know everything to start. You began awkwardly, fearfully, making mistakes. You fell, got up, tried again. Mastery didn't come before practice, it was forged in practice. Personal transformation follows exactly the same principle. You don't become courageous and then act. You act, even with fear, and courage is born from that act. The universe is waiting for your signal. It's ready to conspire in your favor, to move pieces, open doors, and introduce the right people. But it needs a clear sign that you're committed. And that sign isn't a wish, a prayer, or a detailed plan. The sign is your action. A small step, however small, in the direction of the life you want to create. That first step sends a wave of energy into the cosmos, declaring your intention in a way that no words could. And the most intriguing thing is that this first step, the most important of all, is rarely what you imagine. It's not a big dramatic change. It's not quitting your job or selling everything and moving. Usually, it's something much smaller, an internal decision, a subtle change in attitude that begins to dismantle the old structure from within. The first step is not a grand physical act, but a mental choice that prepares you for the real turning point. Now, stop for a moment and think about the last time something truly changed in your life. Not a superficial adjustment like buying a new car or getting a haircut. I'm talking about a real, profound change that completely altered your trajectory, to the point where the person you were before seems almost a stranger to who you are now. It might have been the end of a long relationship, the beginning of a new career path, or an internal transformation that changed how you see the world. Find that moment in your memory. If you trace the origin of this great change, you'll discover that it didn't begin with a spectacular event. It can always be traced back to a specific point, a silent decision, a moment when you stopped negotiating with reality and simply acted. It was the moment you said enough, the moment you sent that message, made that call, bought that ticket, or simply decided within yourself that things could no longer continue as they were. That was the ignition point. The most fascinating thing about these decisive moments is that they never seem heroic while they're happening. On the contrary, the instant they occur, they're terrifying. They seem reckless, irrational, like a leap into the dark without a safety net. Your mind screams, lists all the reasons why this is a terrible idea, fills you with doubt and panic. There are no trumpets blowing, no applauding audience. There's only you, fear, and a choice. But when you look back, in retrospect, you realize that those unheroic moments were the only ones that truly defined your path. They were the crossroads that determined everything else. The only thing that separated that act from continued stagnation was a single pulse of will, a decision to honor your inner truth, even if the outside world and your own mind called it madness. It was an act of faith in something you couldn't yet see, but could already feel. Most of us wait for a momentous occasion, a clear sign from the heavens, an overwhelming surge of courage to propel us into action. But change rarely happens that way. It's born in quiet, solitary moments of decision. It's the choice not to pick up the phone and call that person. It's the choice to turn on the computer and sign up for that course. It's the choice to say no when everything in you was programmed to say yes. It's these small acts of rebellion against your own patterns that create the greatest revolutions. And the truth is, you're facing one of those moments right now. Life is presenting you with a choice disguised as an online text. You can treat it as just another passing piece of information, or you can recognize it for what it is, an invitation to your own non-heroic moment. You are about to discover your act of will, the small decision that has the power to change everything. And for that, you need to understand the currency the universe demands in exchange for your freedom. The currency of transformation, the price of your freedom. Imagine that your life, at this very moment, is like a train stopped at the station. The engine is running, steam rises along the tracks, the doors are open, and the destination on the sign is exactly where your soul longs to go. You are on the platform with the golden ticket in your hand, a ticket that gives you access to this new reality. You know you need to board. You know it's the right direction, but for some reason, you hesitate. You stand there, just looking. You wait. You wait for the perfect moment, for absolute certainty, for a final confirmation that you're making the right choice. You look to the sky hoping for a sign. You look at the other passengers trying to guess if they're as scared as you are. And while you wait, immersed in your paralyzing analysis, people who arrived after you, perhaps less prepared but more decisive, simply board the train. The whistle blows. The doors begin to close. The train doesn't wait. It departs. And you remain on the platform, alone, holding onto your perfect plan, your logical caution, and your now useless ticket. You chose certainty over movement. You chose the comfort of the familiar platform over the growth that the unknown journey offered. This is the exact metaphor for your life now. The universe is telling you that risk is not an obstacle to be eliminated from the journey. Risk is the price of the ticket. It is the currency for your own evolution. You cannot eliminate it, only decide if you are willing to pay it. Thoth's message, the wisdom that echoes through the ages, is this: the only thing preventing you from boarding this train is not a lack of courage, not a lack of preparation, not a lack of resources. The only thing preventing you is your refusal to pay the price. You want transformation, but you don't want to give up who you are today. You want the new life, but you remain attached to the comforts and excuses of the old life. You want the gold, but you don't want to let go of the lead. And what is the price? What is the currency the universe demands? It is the most valuable thing you possess, your current identity. The price is abandoning the person you have been until now. It is leaving behind the stories you tell yourself, the traumas that define you, the limitations you have accepted as truths. The price is becoming a beginner again, embracing the unknown, allowing yourself to be vulnerable. It is the symbolic death of your old self so that the new self can be born. This is true alchemy. It's not about transforming metal, but about transforming yourself. And this transformation has a cost. You can't take your old baggage to the new destination. You need to leave it on the platform. The refusal to pay this price is what keeps 99% of people trapped in a life they don't want, dreaming of a journey they will never have the courage to begin. The train is leaving, and life keeps moving, with or without you on board. The cruelest and most painful part of waiting isn't the daily frustration, but a truth that reveals itself with time. The window for certain decisions closes forever. Life isn't a static stage patiently awaiting your goodwill. It's a constantly moving river, a train that never stops at the station for long. And while you stand on the platform, calculating and hesitating, the world around you continues to move. The opportunities available today are gone tomorrow. People who could have been part of your journey move on, boarding their own trains. The energy that was conducive to a particular change shifts. The momentum dissipates. And one day, perhaps months or years from now, you wake up and realize, with a punch to the gut, that the decision you hope to feel perfectly ready for isn't even available anymore. The door has closed. The train has left. And there's nothing more painful than regretting a chance you had and didn't seize. All your preparation, all the research, all the books you've read, and the advice you've gathered without execution become a sophisticated form of procrastination. You create a beautiful narrative for yourself, saying you're preparing, that you're maturing the idea. But preparation without a deadline for action is just an excuse not to act. Your caution, which once seemed a virtue, slowly reveals itself as your greatest and most comfortable prison. You built the bars with your own hands. You get used to the safety of the cell. It's predictable, familiar. You know every corner, every shadow. The world outside is frightening, unpredictable. And so you convince yourself that it's better to stay where you are in the safety of your dissatisfaction than to risk the uncertainty of freedom. But freedom is not the absence of fear. Freedom is acting despite fear. It's choosing growth instead of comfort, expansion instead of stagnation. It's choosing to truly live instead of merely existing. But what if there was a way to break the bars of that prison right now? Not with an elaborate escape plan, not with superhuman strength, but with a single action, a single movement, so simple that your mind would dismiss it as insignificant. What if the key to opening your cell wasn't on the outside, but inside your own pocket all along? What if all you had to do was recognize that the door was never locked? The truth is, the only thing keeping you trapped is your belief that you're trapped. It's a mental illusion, a deal you made with yourself. And to break that deal, you don't need more time, more money, or more courage. You need one thing: a decision. A decision to stop negotiating with fear and finally give yourself permission to move. And that decision is the true price of movement. The price of movement. The end of negotiation. To move forward, to finally board the train of your transformation, you need to surrender something. Your conditioned soul fears losing more than anything: the negotiation with fear. You need to declare the end of conversations, the end of excuses, the end of waiting for an external sign. You need to abandon the childish need to receive permission to live your own life. No one will come to rescue you. No one will give you the authorization you so desperately seek. Permission can only come from within you. The biggest trap on the spiritual journey is the belief that we need to feel ready before we act. We wait for a wave of confidence, for a feeling of certainty that will push us forward. But life doesn't work that way. Clarity doesn't precede action. It's a result of action. It emerges during the process like a beacon illuminating the path as you move through the darkness. The map of your new life unfolds beneath your feet as you walk. Not before. The operating order for manifesting a new reality is an ancient, immutable, and powerful principle. And it's the opposite of what most people do. First comes the unwavering decision, an internal, firm, and absolute choice that change will happen no matter what. It's a total commitment, with no plan B, no escape routes. You burn bridges with your past. Only after this decision is made, with every fiber of your being, does clarity begin to manifest. When you truly commit, the universe begins to rearrange the reality around you to match your new frequency. The right ideas emerge. The right people appear. The resources you need become available, often in unexpected ways. But none of this happens while you have one foot in each camp, one foot in decision and the other in doubt. The universe responds to the clarity of your intention, and intention only becomes clear through decision. And your decision needs to be made before this year ends. This is not an arbitrary deadline. An energy portal is closing, a cycle is completing. Making this choice now, at the end of this cycle, carries immense power. It's like using the last wave of the year to propel you to the beach of 2026. If you miss this wave, you'll have to wait for a new tidal cycle, and the energy won't be the same. The choice is yours. Use this force to your advantage or fight against the current next year. You're on the threshold. The negotiation needs to end. The internal dialogue that keeps you paralyzed needs to be silenced by an act of pure will. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now, your future life awaits your present decision. And this decision is not a grand event, but a final act of choice, a decisive vote that will determine the course of everything to come. At this very moment, as you read these words, you are no longer a passive spectator. You have been placed in a state of ultimate choice. You can feel the weight, the finality of this moment. It is not a threat, but a solemn invitation. A deep part of you, your inner wisdom, knows that if you let this moment pass like all the others, if you close this page and return to your routine of waiting, something within you hardens. A door closes not with a bang, but with a silent and definitive click. The change your soul longs for isn't about becoming a completely different person overnight. That expectation is what paralyzes you. True transformation is built through a series of small daily decisions where you consciously choose differently than you did yesterday. Today, you choose not to complain. Tomorrow, you choose to dedicate 10 minutes to your project. Then you choose to say no to something that drains your energy. Each small choice is a vote in favor of your new life. With each of these small victories, you break the hypnotic pattern of waiting. You begin to prove to yourself at a cellular level that you can move without external permission. You don't need anyone's approval, not even your own fearful mind's. And this proof, even if it starts small, begins to accumulate. It builds a new foundation of evidence, brick by brick, showing that you are much stronger, more capable, and more powerful than the story you were telling yourself. The message from Thoth, who traveled through time to find you, is a final and resounding call. It's an appeal for you to stop allowing fear to have the deciding vote in your life. Fear will always be there, whispering in the passenger seat, but it can no longer be in control of the steering wheel. You've spent too long giving it the power to define your destiny. Now is the time to take back control, not with anger or violence, but with a calm and firm decision. The time for waiting is over. The time for planning, analyzing, and doubting has run out. The time to be is now. To be the person who acts. To be the person who chooses. To be the person who honors their own truth, even if it means walking alone for a while. Your choice at this moment will not only define your next year, it will define the next cycle of your life. The energy you put into motion now will create the foundations for everything that comes next. So the final question isn't for me, nor for the universe. It's for you. Standing before this portal, with the train about to depart and the ticket in your hand, what do you decide? Will you remain on the platform, safe in your dissatisfaction, or will you take the step, pay the price, and embark on the journey of your own soul? The choice is yours. The power is yours. It always has been. What do you decide? If you've made it this far, it's because the message resonated with your soul. You are no longer the same person who started this video. The choice has been presented, and your presence up to this point is the first sign that you are ready for the next step. To seal this intention, leave the following phrase in the comments. My next year will be the best ever. If you feel called to support this channel more directly and help me spread more content like this, there's an option to contribute in the first pinned comment. Any help you can give is very important to me and to the growth of this work. But understand that just the fact that you've made it to the end is already a huge help. If you can, share this video with someone who also needs to hear this message. And before you leave, your journey doesn't have to end here. I've prepared a special video to delve deeper into everything we've discussed and guide you to the next step. Don't leave yet. Click on the video that's currently playing on the screen and let's meet there.